We've been listening to a special report from CBS News just moments ago. We heard from President Obama talking from the White House and talking that we still do not know the motive behind this mass shooting, but the FBI has taken the lead of the investigation. And what was really significant at the end of his comments, he said there may be mixed motives involved. Not ruling out a workplace-involved shooting, but also not ruling out terrorism. So a lot of investigating still ongoing here. As we know, there's 3 crime scenes still. We've been showing you pictures all throughout the morning as authorities comb through the townhome of the suspect in Redlands. Then there's also the SUV that is on the highway, littered with debris, surrounded by everything after that shootout that killed the 2 suspects, and then also at the Inland Regional Center. So a lot to piece together, but we do know the FBI is investigating.
And we actually have Margaret Brennan. She is standing by on the White House North Lawn. Margaret, you heard what the president had to say. It's not the first time he's had to speak after a mass shooting. What did you make of his words today?
Well, Anne-Marie and Meg, what was listening to the president, what stood out was his underscoring of the fact this is now a federal investigation. The FBI is now in a lead role, but just how murky things still are at this point. The president saying there could be mixed motives. It's not clear, but it is possible that this mass shooting was an act of terrorism. But the FBI is now in a lead role there. And what we have learned from the ATF is that all 4 of the weapons used, including semi-automatic weapons, were legally purchased. So when you heard the president just there underscore this idea, as he said, it's just too easy to carry out a mass shooting like this, he is pointing towards something around perhaps the executive action that many expect the president to take in the next few weeks or in the year ahead to tighten some regulation around the availability of guns. President told Norah O'Donnell in that interview yesterday he wishes that there were bipartisan congressional action. And in that statement in the Oval Office, he reaffirmed that, saying, you know, lawmakers need to take a lead here, not prescribing something specific, but saying if we don't know the motive and we can't prevent people from getting out there and trying to attack, we can at least make it a little bit harder for them to have weapons available to do so. So I would expect from the White House to hear more messaging around that idea of how do we keep assault rifles from getting into the hands of people who want to carry out harm on this scale.
And Margaret, as you mentioned, the ATF has confirmed that all 4 guns were purchased legally. We do know that the ATF, one of the guns, the person who bought that, they have been talking to them. But how about the other gun that was purchased? Any update on that?
I don't know that level of granularity, to be honest with you, and it sounds like the ATF, U.S. Marshals, and FBI are trying to determine some of those details still. It's not clear who purchased the gun and whether the person who legally purchased them was actually also the person who fired them in the assault. I mean, all of this is going to be coming to light and combed over very carefully. But as the president kept saying there, you heard him say this could be mixed motive. It could be workplace violence. It could be an act of terrorism. But these were people who were living in the United States. These weren't foreign actors. These were people who, according to those around them, they were surprised to see this kind of action. So it's just so unclear yet what kind of response there can be on a federal level when the motivations and the availability, how those weapons became available, is still trying to be determined. But we do know, up to this point, I mean, this is the 18th time since the president came to office that he has made a public statement about a mass shooting. And what happened in San Bernardino is the worst mass shooting since that Newtown massacre of more than 24 children 3 years ago. So expect in the next few weeks to hear more from the president about what he could do to tighten things, take executive action on gun ownership.
Margaret Brennan from the North Lawn of the White House. Thank you very much, Margaret. We're going to continue our coverage of this mass shooting in San Bernardino, California. We have a lot more news coming up. We'll be back in 90 seconds. This is CBSN.